Hey friends, welcome back to another exciting episode of On Location Vancouver. I'm your host Zara Durrani. The show is brought to you with the support of TELUS STORYHIVE. Today I'm at Vancouver's, one of the most celebrated restaurants, Maenam in Kitsilano, known for its bold, flavor-driven take on Thai cuisine. We'll be meeting with Chef Angus An, an award-winning chef restaurateur whose innovative approach to cooking, seamlessly blending tradition, technique, and creativity truly stand out. With a background in fine arts, classical French training, and a deep passion for Thai flavors, Chef Angus has redefined what Thai food can be in Canada. His restaurant group, Full House Hospitality, boasts some of the city's most beloved dining spots, including Maenam, where we are today, one of the Michelin Guide recognized restaurants, Fat Mao Noodles, Long Till Kitchen, and Sen Pad Thai, and his latest venture on the way, Maenam. We'll be talking about that. We'll be diving into his culinary journey, the inspiration behind his dishes, and what makes Maenam such a standout restaurant in Vancouver's dining scene. Let's go meet Chef Angus. All right, friends, welcome back to another exciting episode and a very delicious episode of On Location Vancouver. I'm your host, Zara Durrani. Today we're here in the heart of Kitsilano at Maenam, and joining me is someone who has graced television many times, and you will see him on, all the local stations talking about food, his cookbook, which we're going to talk about a bit later. And first up, we're going to be digging into some of the lunch specialties, as well as mocktails. So in case you're wondering, these are not alcoholic beverages. I don't drink, so they made some special mocktails, and then later on we're gonna learn how to make everything. Chef Angus An, thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure. Pleasure. Thank you.
I walked in here and I was welcomed with this. Obviously, I'm very hungry, but as soon as I walked in, it was this waft of delicious smells, like I'd been taken back to Southeast Asia.
Well, that's what we're trying to bring. So, welcome.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. I've definitely been here before, and the fact that we get to sit down with you and to learn from you and to try this amazing food. So I was asking you off camera because I'm so curious about the names. The names of the restaurants are and you have a new one coming out on Davies soon.
That's right, yeah.
So for those who are wondering, what does Maenam mean?
Maenam is actually meaning river. Okay. Straight translation means mother water. It's also obviously a famous beach in Thailand, but we picked the name because of its association with river, a constant flow of water, and water is the strongest element in Buddhism, and it's one of the reasons we picked it.
Amazing. And are you able to share with our viewers what is happening in downtown Vancouver next? Yeah,
so our latest project, which we've been working on in the last sort of 8 months or so, it's called Maenam. It's actually in the West End on Davie Street. So I'm hoping to have that place open sort of mid to late spring, and it's going to be exciting because it'll be a new concept for our portfolio. We're doing Northeastern Thai, which is something that I think I'm super excited about, because it was one of my favorite regions in terms of food in Thailand.
I'm sure people ask you this question all the time. Where did this passion for food and feeding people come from?
Well, I think they go hand in hand. The passion for food is really because you're feeding people, and I think ever since I was young, my parents were very good cooks. My grandparents are good cooks, and I think every time there's good food, people come together and people are always happy. So I think it's the passion to cook is really, I think, goes hand in hand to want to feed people. One of my favorite things to do on my weekends is to cook at home for my wife and my son. Wow. And it's nice to just be at home having good food together, and I think that's ultimately. So you're not doing
takeouts or anything after being in the kitchen?
No,
and,
I mean
all the works.
Yeah, I do enjoy cooking at home, and I think my job at the restaurants now isn't necessarily just cooking, right? So I do miss a lot of that stuff, and also I miss that impromptu style cooking. Sometimes it's like I don't plan out every dish like we do at a restaurant at home. A lot of times I go, I wonder what we have in the fridge. I wonder what's fresh in the market, and then I'll cook dinner based on that with a glass of wine or whatnot, right? So it's about that sort of feeling of just cooking relaxes me, and knowing that I'm going to feed people, make people happy, hopefully, right? That makes me happy.
It's like meditative for you.
Yeah, 100%.
I can hear that in your voice. So we're gonna dig into the food because I can just smell it. The smells are haunting me right now.
Yeah, there's a little surprise underneath here too.
Ooh la la, is that dessert?
No, these are all snacks that we start our dinner tasting menus with. So this is maho, which is a caramelized chicken. And the caramelized chicken is cooked in palm sugar until it basically becomes meat candy. And it's served on a sour fruit. So in today's case is a pineapple. This is a house-made prawn chip with a tamarind relish. So basically we grill the tamarind and then we pound it out with a lot of aromatics, garlic and all that stuff with tamarind, and then we put a bit of chopped prawns. And this here is a squid ink cupcake with hiramasa dice with some yen, which is a caramelized dressing. And then here is a long. Basically, it's a wet relish, so it's a relish that's been cooked in coconut cream. And this has got fermented pork inside, and it's a relish that you're supposed to enjoy with different, crudités. And then, of course, the soup that we're going to be making later is a hot and sour seafood soup. And it's, I think hot and sour soups are one of those things that people always know, but it's one of the easiest things to make if you have the fresh ingredients. And we're going to show that in a bit.
Amazing. Well, we're so excited to dig in. And can we talk a little bit about the cocktail because Tony was making it? Yeah,
so this is Tony's non-alcoholic creation with Noah Spirits. So it's basically, he named it Earth and Cloud. Okay. So it's got a lot of complexities. Cheers. It's got Thai tea infusion. It's a burnt artichoke maple syrup sweetener. Lots of lime juice to balance. And, his cocktail is like our food. It's very balanced. Thai food is about a balance and harmony of hot, sour, sweet, salty, sometimes bitter. So in this cocktail, there's a little bit of everything. And I think it's beautiful.
So perhaps before we dig into our little bowl, I do think we have to try this.
Yeah, there's no particular order. So this is the squid ink cupcake. So you can just take it in 1 or 2 bites. I would say 1 bite.
1 bite, okay. Cheers, friends.
It's a really balance of textures and flavor.
Light and fresh.
This one is the maho, which is the caramelized chicken. You can take it in 1 bite.
And what was something like this inspired by?
A lot of our dishes are created by seasonal ingredients that come into play. And a lot of other dishes are inspired by really traditional recipes. This is a traditional recipe that was passed on to me. David and, at his restaurant cooked it. So, we put different spins on it. So sometimes we'll cook it with tuna. This time it's with chicken, and we'll put different spices in it. So it's just a little bit of a tradition that, I kind of reminds me where I came from in terms of learning Thai food.
I also love the mixture of apple in there.
Pineapple, yeah.
Pineapple, okay, yes. It's like the crunchy, the sweetie, and then you have a different kind of sweet on top. Well, I'm so excited to dig into this soup, especially with my diet being pescatarian. This is like the perfect soup for someone like me. And you can add different ingredients if you wanted to, right?
Yeah, perfect, yeah.
Okay, bon appetit, folks.
It's the freshest, freshness of the flavor. It's a balance of the intensities. Yeah.
It doesn't really hit in the beginning, and then halfway through, you're like, okay, the kick is coming in. So, what are you using for the spice? Cayenne?
No, this is the Thai chili.
Okay.
Fresh Thai chili, which you'll see in here. Again, we leave all the stuff that we infuse in there.
Okay.
And then, people are just supposed to avoid it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We use the red and green chilies quite a bit in Pakistan.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Yes.
They pack a lot of heat. I mean, there's only 1 chili in this whole soup, so.
Wow. But you've cooked it in there, so allowed it to simmer. It's not just like.
Yeah, as you see, it simmers about 5 minutes, and it's perfect. You don't want to overcook the aromatics because what you're tasting right now is the freshness. A lot of the ingredients like the galango, the lemongrass, if you simmer it too long, it starts tasting kind of old, and you don't want that in this particular recipe.
you want it to be fresh.
You want to be fresh, intense, you know, punch you in the face kind of thing. Yeah.
And can we find the recipe in your book?
Our recipes and menus change quite frequently, but there's a version of the soup in here.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just not exactly the same right now because we do change it quite seasonally.
If you were to suggest to someone like
Mm-hmm.
me, who is very like minimal when it comes to cooking or baking, what is something that you would say, hey Zara, I believe in you that you can do this at home without burning down the kitchen?
I honestly think every recipe in there is pretty repeatable at home. I was really encouraged to make a book that's not a professional book. So this is more of a, you know, it's a book for a lot of home cooks at different levels. And when we were making the book, I passed the book on to several different recipe testers. Some of them are professional chefs, some of them are just home cooks, some of them never cook. And majority of them follow the recipes and have very good results. So, you know, I'm confident that you will have the same results. You know, there's a lot of things with very simple steps, like the scallop crudo. You know, you have to get fresh scallops, obviously. And, you know, that chicken rice recipe is very simple as well. So, you know, I think it's worth a try pretty much just about everything. I didn't put anything that's too challenging in there, maybe except for the uni ice cream. Right, so then you know I think it's challenging in terms of people's mindset about it, but other than that, I think every recipe is probably pretty approachable.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Well, the best thing is we're gonna learn today, so I get to be in the kitchen learning with you, and I think that's my hidden secret, right? Like I don't know how to cook. What I can do is I can make a good brunch, pancakes, lots of eggs. You know, I can handle that. Anything more than that, I am lost. I'm really good at eating and enjoying the food, so I'm so grateful I get to sit down here with you. And Mekong in Whistler is already making lots of waves. I get to go to Whistler, I believe at some point in April, or I may push that trip to June. So would love to visit. What can I expect and what should I order when I'm up there?
Mekon's been a really fun journey. I think it's nice to have another option in Whistler. Obviously, it's such a world-class ski town, and you know, I think number of people skiing versus number of restaurants it's quite difficult to find good places sometimes. So we've been very excited. I think the past kind of couple of years has been great. I would say when you get there, if you like seafood, go for the black pepper crab. I think it's one of the signature dishes. It's obviously it's one of my signature dishes. It's also in the book, so try that, and you know, try some of the fish dishes up there. It's amazing. Yeah.
When you visit your family, do you cook for your parents? Is your mom cooking for you? What's the story?
Oh, I love when my mom cooks. So
does she ever get nervous? She's
no. She's cooked for me her entire life, and you know, so I think it's nice that she will obviously prepare some frozen dumplings and put it in the freezer, and then my son can pack it, that kind of thing. But yeah, I do also make dinner on Sundays. Sometimes I'll make extras and I'll have them over for dinner. And you know, I in Thailand too, I'll cook for Kate's family, and you know, I'm just happy to be in the kitchen.
That's so lovely. And now we get to go backstage and in the kitchen and learn how to make this wonderful soup. Honestly, I'm loving the kick, the spice, and yeah, hopefully I can, even if I come 5%, 10% close, you know, to what you created here, I'll consider that a win. What an honor to be here in Chef Angus An's kitchen here at Maenam. I'm so excited.
Welcome.
What are we making today, Chef?
So we're making a hot and sour seafood soup.
Yes.
Which is, you know, there's many different variations of hot and sour soup. This is probably one of the simplest versions. You obviously have to have fresh ingredients, and really it's a key sort of 4 or 5 things that you want to infuse it with. And the trick is to not to overcook it. So we're gonna do that. It's very, very simple. So you start off with a really good sort of light-based chicken stock. So this is really just chicken carcass. No mirepoix, nothing to give it kind of color or flavor that you want. You just want to give it a little bit. If you really want, you can do a fish broth, because I know your vegetarian, but fish broth is just fine. Use white fish bones.
I'm
like
also
halibut.
okay with chicken. Chicken broth is great. Yeah.
I kind of figured. So this is just light chicken stock.
Okay.
We're gonna do about
You're
two
just
cups.
eyeballing.
Yeah,
Okay.
about two cups.
Okay. And this is something you make it here in-house?
Yes.
Okay.
We make everything in-house,
Everything.
including our curry paste. So
Okay.
what we want to do is we want to bring this up to temperature. We have fresh lime leaves. This is lemongrass stalks. Okay, so we use a lot of the nice base part for salads, and this is like the ends, and we use these for flavor. Give that a bruise. There we go, that's perfect. So
I am getting the one-on-one lessons. So something you were mentioning earlier that you do give cooking lessons, like is that more for friends and family or celebrities, or how does one go about getting lessons with you?
I've done, cooking schools have asked me to do like guest demos. I've done that. Pika has done that. I've done that for Northwest in the past. I've done, long time ago, I've done stuff at 30 Apron as well. But more importantly, I think a lot of times when charities ask me to donate things, instead of donate a gift certificate, I often donate a private cooking class where I get to come to your house and show you how to cook and cook for you. And that obviously will help the charity a lot more. So that's usually how I go about
and it's such an experience. That's why I think I'm so excited, because to be standing next to someone who's a restaurateur, like you're creating all this food, fresh food, you're passionate about cooking, and to learn from you. And I need all the lessons I can get. So let's go.
So we're gonna put some mushrooms in. So I have some oyster mushrooms and some straw mushrooms.
Okay.
You notice I have not seasoned the soup base at all.
Yes.
And the reason is because we season with fish sauce
Okay.
and fresh lime juice.
Okay.
And neither of those two things I want to cook very much, because the fresh lime juice I want to be super fresh.
And do you add that afterwards? Okay.
Yeah. So we're just basically infusing the flavor, and I think we're ready to be adding in our seafood.
Okay, lovely.
So I'm gonna do 4 mussels.
Okay.
Do these big prawns. Gonna do 3 to 4. So now we're just gonna wait until the seafood.
And that's about 45 seconds, you said, or 2 minutes?
That's about 45 seconds.
45 seconds. So that's 45 seconds for cooking the seafood. That is something really important. Yeah, the prawns are changing.
So you see all the seafoods are open, we're ready to go. We're about to season the soup.
Lovely.
So now we're gonna season at the end with lime juice and fish sauce.
Okay.
It's pretty much equal parts of both. But again, different people have different preferences in seasoning. I like my hot and sour soup quite sharp. Okay. And this is salted coriander. So for all the fresh herbs we put in at the end. So now that's our soup.
Amazing.
And
what a beauty.
I want you to have a taste. This is a clean spoon.
It's the lime.
The lime, the galangal, the lemongrass, it all gives it so much, sharp, intense flavor.
Divine.
It's got a kick, but it's not overly spicy. So
I feel like I could eat this daily because of the lemongrass, the lime.
exactly. You want to be careful. I don't put too much of the stalks because you don't eat that. We just infuse with it. But in Thailand, it's considered bad form if you don't put some of that infusion, because people might think you're buying store-bought paste to make it. So we do put some of like the fresh galangal that we make the soup with, and we make sure that it's in there. So we tell people, hey, avoid the lemongrass, avoid the chili. Look at that beautiful mussel, so plump.
I feel like a soup like this on a gray, rainy day, or if you're feeling you're coming down with something, this is perfect.
Hot and sour soup is one of the easiest soups to make if you have all the ingredients ready, right? So at the end, I like to put some of the seafood back on top, and there you go.
Lovely. Wow. Fresh hot and sour soup we learned how to make right here on location, Vancouver at Maenam. We're here in the kitchen with Chef Angus An. Chef, thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much. Now you can make that at home.
Thank you so much, Chef. What a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I truly appreciate you. What an honor to be here in his kitchen. Like, no big deal. I'm just a little bit excited, if you guys can't tell. And you know what I'm most excited about? This. I'm excited to dig in. Thank you, Chef.
Thank you.
Cheers, folks. Okay, bye. I gotta eat. Well, folks, that was a fun episode of On Location Vancouver today here at Maenam, and we're so grateful Chef Angus was able to join us today, and what a treat to learn from him how to make hot and sour soup. And I get to dig into it once I get home on a beautiful rainy day like today in Vancouver. Until next time, I'm your host Zara Durrani, and I'll catch you on Location Vancouver, brought to you with the support of TELUS STORYHIVE. Until next time.